When I was in second grade, I had this epic idea for a video game. It was called Mokurai Droids. So Mokurai Droids, the core mechanic, the main selling point was that it was really cool and really really awesome. And every single day at recess, me and my friend would go out and we'd either play Mokurai Droids or we'd play Ninjas. Ninjas was his game, Mokurai Droids was my game, and we'd go out and the entire playground would be transformed into an alternate universe. The equipment, they'd become ships, and the wood chips, they'd become lava, and we'd have to, hop across the lava, like we'd make lava boots, and be jumping across dimensions and fighting giant rock monsters with our epic swords that we forged from the core of a dying star. And it was the coolest thing ever, and it was beautiful. There was no, worrying about balance. There was no worrying about design. It was just us going out, and we were just taking joy in the fact that we created this little universe in our heads, and it was a beautiful thing. And then I grew up. As we got older, we started playing less and less, and fifth grade rolled around, and it was a little bit weird to be spinning around with your arms out, pretend you're shooting lasers out of them. And so you started like throwing in little hints that, this is a joke. Oh, we're just being ironic. And we weren't. We liked what we were doing, but we couldn't let anyone else know that. And then middle school rolled around, and all that disappeared entirely. And even though Mokurai Droids died, there was still a little piece of that remained within me. I still loved to create these little universes in my head. And all the time, I'd be pestering my brother about, oh, I just had this epic idea. Uh, it's going to be a game where, I don't know, you're on a boat stuck in the ocean, and there's going to be these giant, evil monsters. You got to kill them. Probably annoyed the crap out of my brother, but that part of me never died. And it still hasn't to this day. And just that joy for creation, it remained within me this entire time. And then, start of 2020, uh, COVID rolled around. And up until this point, I'd been getting into Minecraft stuff a little bit, doing command blocks and all that. And it was cool because it gave me a way to take all these worlds that were in my head and make them into something tangible that other people could see and that other people could interact with. I remember spending, hours upon hours, like 3 months straight, trying to make that boat game I mentioned earlier into a real thing, but in Minecraft. And all my friends were going to experience it. This idea that I had in my head, this vision, and it was going to be awesome. And it didn't end up working out. It was like hundreds of command blocks, and the entire game just chugged to a halt the second you tried to run it. It was a learning experience though. Um, it's kind of besides the point. But COVID rolled around, and as I got older, life got a lot harder. Things get a lot more complex as you get older. Not quite as simple, and you take on more hardships, you take on more pain, more hurt. That's just natural. And when COVID had rolled around, I was in a especially low point in my life. Um, just struggling a lot with classes and personal relationships and stuff. And once all of that stopped, classes stopped and everything, Minecraft kind of swooped in, and it was like the savior for me. And it finally made me feel happy again. That joy for creation, and I would spend hours upon hours every single day. I remember beginning of COVID, literally just hand typing like thousands of lines of code because I had to hard code something and it was dumb. And I remember literally seeing the letters like dancing by the time I was done with it because I was hallucinating from just staring at a screen for so long. And I loved it. I was like, oh, I finally got it done. Yes. And I was so proud of myself. And um, eventually that turned into me making a YouTube channel. And I wanted to share this thing with everyone. And I I would put these things out here there, like on Reddit or whatever, and tens upon thousands of people would just love these things. And it made me so happy seeing that the thing that I loved, the thing that I'd made, people also were interested in that and they shared in that joy. And more, I started to grasped at this creative joy, and I was reaching and trying to take more and more of it for myself, until eventually that became all I was. My creative desires had, in effect, kind of consumed me, and that didn't go away for a very long time. And sometimes the only reason they subside is because I found some other shiny thing to distract me, whether that be video games or just sitting for 4 hours watching Netflix. Um, that makes the whole creative thing just seem like an upgrade to that. And I kind of thought of it in that way. But I didn't realize that even though that creative desire, which I perceived as good, I had turned it into something that was really just burying my own emotions. And eventually, that little dopamine rush of just, creating after thing after thing after thing after thing, it started to kind of wear off. And what you were left with was just nothing but that emptiness. And it started to kind of occur to me that maybe these creative desires are a bad thing. And I expressed that a lot in my last video, that, when I make these YouTube videos, what good am I really doing? And is any of this really worth it? Am I having any positive impact on the world? Or am I just indulging myself? And the answer is yes. I was indulging myself. That's all I was doing it for. I just thought it was fun. I was doing it purely for that. Um, and that's when, around the time of my last video, I decided to try and make a change. And for 90 days, I said I'm going to step away from video games, from YouTube, from Netflix, and most importantly, though, I'm not going to create any more data packs or anything like that for 90 days. And throughout those 90 days, a lot of very beautiful things were revealed to me. I decided to spend a lot of time just in silence, in prayer, because, I had suddenly had hours that I was previously using, playing, I don't know, Risk of Rain or whatever. And I had to face the silence. And at first, it was very painful. Uh, Silence is not very fun when you're not used to it. But eventually, I did get used to it. And in that silence, it was revealed to me a lot of very beautiful things about creativity, about myself. And I guess the reason I'm making this video is because I want to share that with you guys. So what did I learn throughout these 90 days? Well, what did I learn? So the first major thing that I learned is that creation is not a bad thing. Maybe I was using it in a bad way, as sort of a bit of a remedy for my problems. And I guess that's an even deeper thing that was revealed to me, is that I was covering up all these real problems I had just by trying to make things, and maybe that would make me happy, and it really wasn't. And a lot of deeper hurt was revealed to me, like the fact that I was neglecting a lot of my own personal relationships because I was so sucked into my work and these things that I was making. And I realized that I wasn't giving this thing up because it was bad, but because I needed to learn how to use it. But looking back to those games I'd make up in elementary school, I realized that there's good just in creating for the joy of creating. And especially after I posted my last video, it was a very beautiful response to that. And thank you guys for all of that, all the wonderful comments. People telling me that I have had an impact on them, and I started to realize that this gift I've been given, it can be used for good, and that I ought to use it for good. That it's not supposed to be just shoved under the table just because I don't know how to use it. That I need to learn how to use this gift, that so that I can use it to bring people together, or maybe teach them something. So moving forward, things are going to be a little bit different. I'm no longer doing this just because I think it's fun. I'm doing this because I think creating is a very beautiful thing, and that I've been given a great gift. I believe that I am a gift, and that that gift ought to be shared with all of you. And unlike, the whole Mokrai droids thing that I shoved under the desk and, hid after fifth grade, I don't want this to be like that. I don't want this to be something that I'm ashamed of, but something that I can just freely and openly share with all of you. And you know what? Maybe I'll look a little bit dumb along the way, but I know that I'm doing something good with it. So I think that this video is only really scratching the surface of some of the many beautiful revelations I've come to, and I don't think I could do all of that justice in one video. And I also don't want to clog up this main channel with a lot of stuff like that. So I've decided I'm going to start a second channel, and I'll probably be posting the other video around the same time as this one. I'll put the link in the description. So if this is something that interests you, if you are someone who, struggles with, your creative desires and how do I use this thing, or maybe you're not creative at all and you're just interested, um, and you want to learn how to become more creative and how you could use that for good, I'm going to make a second channel and I'm going to post videos just talking about that, just like this, just chatting with you guys. And I think that could be a really cool thing. Feel free to let me know what you think, but I've decided I'm going to do it. So I hope you all like it. I don't know how to end videos. I've never been good at that. I could end with some poetic speech like, this is the beginning of a new era of the Big Poppy Gaming channel. No more, no more. Is it's just gonna be like, oh guys, check out this cool thing I made. No, this is gonna be beautiful, and I'm going to share myself and all of my beauty so that you guys can come to see how beautiful you are and how beautiful your creations are. And I just want you all to know that I love all y'all, and I hope you have an amazing day. I think that's pretty sufficient for an outro, wouldn't you guys say? I think we'll call it here. Adios.